All right, y'all. I'm about to go down to New Orleans to talk about this escape. You heard me? So, as you know, they were able to escape. You know, they got escape plotting with the staff and behind the toilet. And I have a lot of questions about this escape that made me wonder what's really going on. So, as we all know, the maintenance guy James Sterling, he admitted that he turned off the water so they can escape through there, right? So my first question to this is, how is it that a maintenance guy would have one-on-one contact with a inmate without an officer present? Because I work as a CO, and there was this, and I have a lot of questions about this. Anyways, it's like I said, there should never be a direct contact between maintenance and an inmate without an officer present. But hey, who knows? That officer present could have been the other staff member that helped them escape, right? So as I said and I watched this story, I wanted to let it play out to see if they was gonna catch them and etc. And I also wonder, how is it that this guy Antoine Massey, how did he escape 4 times? And I was just shocked that they didn't learn anything about this guy the second time he escaped, right? Because that's when you step up your protocols at the jail. If inmates are able to escape, as the sheriff, that's when you start questioning who is doing these inspections. I saw the sheriff on the news, and she admitted, hey, I take full responsibility. Yes, you should take full responsibility, but not enforcing certain rules at your jail, because now you put the public safety at risk, And you also should question who is doing these inspections. The COs. When we're COs, when we're doing our rounds, that's the first thing we're making sure that there's no escape route and nothing is broken. And the toilet is the main thing that we look at, because inmates are known for hiding things behind the toilet. We done found cell phones, shanks, just all kinds of stuff. Weapons, money, etc. And so I knew that the maintenance guy, he didn't do this alone, because in most of these cases, you got people like Antoine Massey, right? He's a known kingpin out of New Orleans. So, of course, he's going to have officers on his payroll that's going to help him escape. And we already saw that because of the arrest that's been made. And for an example, this guy, Derrick Groves, y'all probably heard the story of him and his grandmother, how she was killed in 1994 by a corrupted New Orleans Police Department. And New Orleans Police Department has always been corrupted. It's been proven. It's written documentation about it. And however, I'm gonna get back to the to the escapees, and I really blame the jail for not doing proper inspections, because that is the only way that this is going to happen. And another thing I'm gonna say too, I feel like they're covering up something, New Orleans PD or the New Orleans Sheriff Department, because I was looking at how they was able to escape, and I want to say, to me, that was kind of almost impossible, to why 10 people are able to squeeze through one hole without a CO, without no one noticing them. That was just bogus to me. And as the maintenance guy said, he did it. He turned off the water because he was instructed to by an inmate, Antoine Massey, because he was threatening. Working as a CO, how many times that I've been threatened by inmates, but not one time I was ever intimidated by him. And he gets put in these positions is because they start doing favors with him, because the inmates start giving them money. Lots of it at that, and it just manipulate them into doing everything. So I'm not buying that he was threatened. What it was that he was planning this escape. Him and other staff have been planning this escape for some time, because this escape didn't happen overnight, right? And so I'm just wondering, like, why was he in general population? Because most of the time we have criminals like this, you put them by themselves so they can't plot up with other inmates. And to me, I just felt like New Orleans Sheriff Department, they just had their guards down. It's like staff didn't care whether or not he was plotting stuff. They didn't take it into consideration. And what Massey did, he took advantage of the situation. Hell, and there's no wonder why he had enough time as he was escaping to write, "Hey, it's too easy." I mean, hey, do you agree with him? I mean, he's escaped 4 times, and not once had they tried to put this guy away. I mean, the second time, I was shocked to learn that the sheriff department didn't learn anything from it. Right. So now the public safety is at risk because you got two of the most dangerous criminals out on the loose because the department, the jail, they failed to do protocols the correct way. And my other question is, how is it and why would it be a toilet that will be connected to the wall to where all they had to do was just break it and they're free? I mean, as a sheriff, you have to inspect things like that. That's the first thing you're looking at. Okay, is my jail safe? Let me look in these cells and see if there is a way they can get out or not. And from my understanding, none of those protocols was followed. And now the jail is under fire by the state because of the failed protocols, the failed inspections, the laziness of the COs. Because I worked at TDC, Dallas County, and not once have an inmate tried to escape. I mean, they wanted to, but they couldn't escape because there was no way for them to escape. And if there was, we would have caught it. But it's like New Orleans, sheriff department, or whatever, parish department. It was almost like it was just the inmate, not excusing the inmates. It's like the staff just didn't care. They didn't care to fix anything. And that's what the inmates say. Number one thing is to find out what's broken. If it's broken, they'll figure out a way to use it. And in this case, yes, I believe the maintenance guy, he got with them and they showed them the route to get out of the jail. Him and some other staff members. And I believe they have more, but they don't want to put it out yet because they're already under fire for allowing these inmates to escape so easily. And just, it's like I said, I blame this on the entire staff and the sheriff because they were not paying attention to protocols. They were not making sure the jail was safe because if they were, they would have noticed this. And also the maintenance man and staff, they were able to get together and conspire to let these inmates go. And I knew that once they captured one of the inmates, they were going to start telling on who helped them escape, because that's what they always do. My time when I worked corrections, I never understood why staff would allow the inmates to manipulate them into doing things, because when the inmate gets caught, you're getting caught. And it's crazy when they catch the inmate, when the inmate tells on you, they don't say anything to you. They'll let you keep doing it, and then finally you'll get a call to come to the office, and they're going to investigators right there confronting you with the evidence that they have. And so I understand why they allow themselves to be manipulated, and that's why we call them ducks, because they fall for the bait every time. So I hope this situation right here gets attention, all over the state, because this happened several times at the same jail, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around why did they not take action the second time Massey escaped. And I don't believe they're going to find him this time. I mean, they might find him, but he's not going to go down without a fight. My other opinion about this, I feel like it's a cover-up. They're not telling us how they really escaped. They're using a toilet, because we all know to get behind a toilet, you have to be really small. And on the video, it looked like they were pulling on the door to get through. But then again, I don't know. And so what I want y'all to do is just tell me in the comments what y'all really think happened and how these inmates really escaped. I think it's more to the story that they're saying, because you have a guy like Massey right here is a big-time kingpin, and he's able to pay people off. And that could be a case that they're covering up, that he was able to manipulate staff. And, a lot of jails don't want people to know that their staff is easily manipulated by inmates, because that make the sheriff and the jail look bad, right? So just let me know in the comments what you think about this entire situation and how it's going to play out.